So now let's take a look at the mid-season balance changes for Necalli and for Abigail. And I'm gonna start first with Necalli, and he got two small changes, but they are pretty welcome and pretty effective in my opinion. The first change to Necalli is to his light punch DP. This now hits forward more on the fourth frame. The idea here is to make it better at punishing stuff that is -4 on block. So for example, let's say that Abigail is gonna do an unsafe attack like his back heavy punch. This is -6, I know, but just showing you an example. The light punch DB would be better at punishing stuff like that. Like, this is the idea. So this is a pretty cool change in my opinion. It's a small buff, but it's pretty significant. Could be very effective in some matchups. Like, I can see some stuff that he was not able to punish before that he now can because of this. So it's a pretty cool change. The other one is when Necalli is in V-Trigger and he does the EX command grab, he can now cancel into the V-Trigger special. So it looks something like this. Right? This is just a little bit more damage. As you see, he gets now 250. Previously, he would get... let's actually activate V-Trigger again. Previously, he would get like around 210, I believe. So it's a little bit more damage, which is good. You know, it's a small damage buff. So about 40, like he went from 212 to almost 250. So about 40 more damage on the command grab or the EX command grab combo in V-Trigger 1. So it's a pretty cool buff nonetheless. So obviously Necalli got buffed. The light punch DP one, this might be pretty significant. But it's gonna be very matchup specific, I feel. Now let's take a look at Abigail, because Abigail got some changes. Abigail, the first change is that they reduced his health. It went from 1100 to 1075, I believe. So now that he have a little bit less health to work with, he can take a little bit less risks. So that is interesting. The other changes are to his crouching medium punch and standing medium punch. What they did is that now they are easier to whiff punish. Obviously, they are still pretty difficult. Like, the crouching medium punch is still pretty difficult in my opinion to whiff punish. But now it is actually easier to do so. So that is the first change, and the standing medium punch is kind of the same thing. I would say the standing medium is dramatically easier to whiff punish actually. Crouching medium punch is still kinda difficult, but standing medium punch is an easy punish. As you can see, like, the hurt box extension is kinda real, right? I wanna see how far I can get this. Damn. So you can really whiff punish him now. So this is a pretty cool change. The other change is to a bunch of his jumping attacks. What they did is that they increased the hurt box. So pretty much it means that he's easier to hit before the attack is active. So for example, if he's doing jumping medium punch, jumping heavy punch, and jumping heavy kick, and jumping medium kick, that is like almost all of his jumping normals, every single one of them is gonna be easier to anti-air early. This is pretty much the idea, right? Like, if you happen to anti-air kinda early, you will anti-air him out of it. So that is a pretty interesting change. The other change is to the EX giant flip. I'm not sure about that one, if it have any like use. In all honesty, they buffed the damage on the second hit, right? But the idea here is that, you know, you were always like, you were never actually doing that. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Abigail doing this like in a match and actually going for it. Most of the time you will do it and then you will combo into like an Abigail bunch or something. Right, this is typically how it goes. But now, if you happen to do the second hit of the giant flip, you are getting more damage. And obviously he gets an OK situation out of that. So maybe they figured it's interesting to give him, do you want to go for the OK or not? Like, they added the damage a little bit to make it more inciting, while also actually giving him a better OK situation. So it's an interesting change. The following changes are to his EX Dynamite Punch and to his V-Trigger 2 and V-Skill 2. The changes to the Dynamite Punch, these are actually very big. This is actually a really big change. So what he did is that this is now gonna be minus 29 on block. This means that your opponent can dash up and full combo punish you. Right, like even if I blocked it maximum range, Necalli gets to dash up and get a punish here. So that's a pretty big nerf. Also it has the same added 20 frames on whiff. So even if he happens to whiff it, let's see have him whiff it. As you can see, Necalli still gets the dash up into whiff punish. So that's a pretty substantial nerf. Not gonna lie, this one is pretty big. And like the idea is that the attack is super rewarding. So they don't want him to be able to do this and get like massive rewards with Venom and Risk, because you were able to space it to be safe. And as you can see, you can still V-trigger, activate, and be safe. So it's not like the end of the world. Like, so this is probably gonna be an attack that you use if you wanna activate into V-trigger. Otherwise, you're gonna have to be a little bit more careful when you're trying to use the EX armor. Right? They wanna limit the viability of a 2 hits forward moving, knockdown, combo, juggle causing attacks that could be safe on block. Like, honestly, guys, it's ridiculous. Now the final change is the same attack. If you are in V-trigger and you cancel out of it into V-trigger, notice it drastically reduced his V-gauge. It took half of his V-gauge bar, not a third like it usually does. So that again, they wanna limit the usability of it. If you wanna make it safe, you have to pay a heavy price. The other change is of course to his tire, the V-skill 2. Now you get to call it after certain knockdowns and after like normals and command normals. I think this is gonna have some set play options, although I'm not really sure how you would apply it yet. But I'm figuring maybe something like this is like the most. But I can see Necalli is still plus 14, so this still seems pretty dangerous to me. Not really sure, to be honest. Maybe on some knockdown, like if you happen to activate V-trigger. But again, Necalli is still plus 5, so I don't know. So they just fasten the startup, now it comes out faster, or he have less recovery, and you get to cancel out of normals and command normals into the V skills. Not sure how it will be applicable, but this is the general idea. Obviously, Abigail got nerfed, and I do know that Japan was very high on Abigail. If you've seen a lot of the Japanese tier list, some of them had him as the best character in the game, especially early in the season. But I don't think these are like super bad changes either, to be honest. Maybe the standing medium and crouching medium punch, these ones are kinda of a bad changes, but these have so much range, to be honest. Like, you shouldn't be whiffing something with this much range to begin with, in all honesty. And that is pretty much it for Necalli and Abigail. Interesting changes all around, I think.